We are joined by the GOAT, Cameron Smith, from our Gold Coast studios. SEN is all over the country. Cam Smith, good morning.
Good morning, fellas. How are we going?
Super.
Going
Look, we've got a whole bunch of things. We've just had the headgear. Well, not even a debate. We've just had the points about headgear does not prevent concussion. We're getting lots of reaction on the text line.
Yes.
Pedro, interestingly, says, I'm wearing headgear whilst listening to the show, just in case.
Yes.
The Warrior-holic says, the Japanese Rugby Union has made it compulsory for school-age kids to wear headgear for years. I constantly have arguments with coaches over there who won't believe that headgear does nothing to prevent concussion. I wore it back in the day, but just to prevent cuts and scratches. Brandy is right, though. It made me feel bulletproof. Luckily, I never got knocked out or had a concussion that I noticed, though. That's from the Warrior-holic. So, Cameron, just on that headgear, you know, the data is, and the NRL physio came on, there is nothing to support.
No.
That headgear prevents concussion. You're aware of that. Is that what you preach when you're talking to kids? You're coaching, what, an under-15 side now?
Under-15s, yeah. And there's a couple of boys that do choose to wear headgear, and that's fine. It's really up to the individual whether they want to wear it or not. Sometimes they feel a little bit more comfortable or confident going on the footy field if they have headgear on. I didn't wear headgear in my footy career. Actually, sorry, I tell a little bit of a fib there. I used one for half a year. I had a bit of a bump on the scon when I was a young bloke, and my mum said, mate, you got to wear headgear. Reluctantly, I wore it just because I wanted to play footy, and I wore it for about 6 games. But no, there's all the studies undertaken show that it actually doesn't prevent concussion. In actual fact, people say, particularly with younger boys and girls, it actually gives them this false sense of security. So they actually go a little bit harder and tend to, at times, put their head in the wrong position because they think, well, I've got headgear on, it's going to protect me, which it doesn't. So there's a little bit behind it. But, sometimes, rugby league players wear it for different reasons, right? Some people wear it because they've got long hair and they want to keep it out of their face, and others for different reasons. But, there's actually no evidence to say that it prevents any type of concussions or head injuries.
Okay, so you didn't wear one at all through your
none
20 years of playing?
No.
Did you even get a cut on your head in the 20 years you played footy?
Brandy, believe it or not, I did. Yeah, I did.
Did you?
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that you're living in the middle of the field for 80 minutes every week.
Yeah.
Million tackles.
Okay.
I got a few on the chin, a few on the eyebrow. Had one sort of on the cheekbone as well. But no, I wasn't like a few of my teammates who were just. They seemed to get split every week. Like Ryan Hoffman, Dale Finucane, these type of guys.
Yeah, Dale Finucane.
Soft skin.
Wow.
Soft skin. Toughen up, boys. They probably moisturise too much.
Now, here's a question for you, Cameron, before we get down to the real big issues. And we want to find out what Melbourne's secret is about winning in round 1. But in your career, Cameron, when did you go from shaking hands to bringing it in? Like, that at the end of a game, a handshake would suffice.
Yep.
But now you've got a handshake and bring it in. I had a moment at the weekend where, you're shaking hands.
Yeah.
Weren't prepared to bring it in. Suddenly I found that I am bringing it in. I'm on the end of someone bringing it in.
So it was very awkward, wasn't it?
Awkward. So when did it happen in your career? Because you would have been a handshake man. Your dad would have taught you to shake hands.
Yep.
Look him in the eyes, shake hands.
Yep.
Then now you bring it in.
When
did that happen?
I can't actually remember the actual point in time where it changed. I'd probably say maybe halfway through my career, I think. Yeah. Maybe halfway through. But because if you know how... all the older games come on TV in the lead up to the weekend matches.
Yeah.
So you look at those, and as soon as you finish, you just turn around, shake hand, walk off the field. Whereas the games in the last sort of, I'd say, decade, there's hugs, there's all these different things, there's the high-fiving and then bring it in, that type of stuff. So maybe halfway through. And probably the first time I did it too, I would have been like you, that was a bit awkward. But anyway, this is what we're doing now.
Cameron, I'm telling you, you'll be waiting a long time for Brandy to bring it in. I've never seen Brandy bring it in with anyone.
Well, next time.
He is a non-bringer-innerer.
Righto, I'm going to get him. I'm going to get Brandy next time. I'm going to
bring him in. Now, Brandy, do you have a story with Wally? Did Wally try to bring it in with you once, Wally Lewis?
Yeah, the King. So
really?
I spotted the King, and which shocked the hell out of me. Bit standoffish, the King, and through our careers we played against each other. We spent a little bit of time together, and then I don't know, maybe it's 6 or 7 years ago, we're out at Tonebush in the media room, where everyone sort of congregates in the middle there, and the King spotted me across the room, and he came across, shook my hand, and he brought it in.
Yeah.
I was stunned. I went, oh, King.
But didn't he bring it in from a distance and almost fell over? Didn't he almost fall over because he brought it in from a distance? You weren't coming in as well. You've got to come in at the same time to bring it in.
You got to meet
I
halfway,
didn't want to come
Brandy.
in.
Yeah, you got to meet halfway. King's almost headbutted you.
No, I didn't want Anyway,
it's more accepted now, isn't it? The man-to-man sort of
It
hug.
is.
You know
Well,
what I
throw
mean?
it out there on the text. Who brings it in with their work colleagues? So you're turning up at work today.
Yep.
Do you say hi, just a wave of the hand? Do you shake hands, or do you have to bring it in? Do you have to bring it in the workplace now?
Yeah.
Is it compulsory? All right, Cameron. Secrets time, reveal. How does Craig Bellamy do it? What do Melbourne have that no other team in history can boast? This round one record, they do it again the other night. What's more, keep Penrith scoreless. First Premier ever to be kept scoreless in a round one game.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So what do Melbourne do that is so damn special to get them, that Craig gets them ready for round one to always be good?
Oh, I just think that. Well, listening to Craig, first and foremost, listening to Craig post-game with his thoughts on the match, he did say that he didn't really think that they played all that well, particularly with the football. They didn't play an overly smart game of football, but what they did play with was plenty of effort, and the obvious thing was their goal line defence, right? Particularly the second half. I can't remember. I'd have to go back a long, long time to give you an example of a defensive effort particularly from the Melbourne Storm, that would match that effort the other night against Penrith. They had multiple sets on their try line, but for somehow they found ways to make a tackle, a desperate tackle at the end. Xavier Coates come up with a couple of big tackles where there was an overlap outside him. Jerome Hughes did a bit of work where he had to wrap around outside Will Warbrick and then make a tackle over in the corner. Ryan Pappenhausen was involved in a couple of try savers. So I think what it comes down to really is the work that they do in the preseason and their fitness. Like, you have to be rock hard fit round one to be able to put in a performance like that. Because, with all due respect to all the other teams in the competition, you give that much ball to Penrith, and particularly in that part of the field where they are attacking your try line, they're going to come away with points. So to be able to keep Penrith to nil the other night, that's the first time that they've been held to nil for 2 years. I think the last time was against Melbourne up in Penrith, but it was like a reserve grade side, wasn't it? They rested about 11 players.
Yeah, just one of those games that didn't really count.
So really, what it comes down to is it's the rock hard fitness that Craig Bellamy and his high performance team get their squad into ready for round one.
So 7 full sets Penrith had inside the 20. There was 42 tackles. So they plenty of ball. Yeah. Plenty of ball inside the 20, and they couldn't crack them. It was a great opening match. Like, for a round one game. Yeah. High quality. Yep. Brutal. Great defence. Can we dispel the myth then that floats around about teams timing their run, coaches timing their team's run? For, like, Craig Bellamy, he gets his team ready for round one.
Yep. Yeah.
What
Roosters
about
are slow
this,
starters. They get to come good round 10.
This garbage where you go, well, no, he's just timing it for the back end of the season. That's rubbish.
No.
The myth that is this timing of the runs. So what are they saying? Are they saying that the coach of the side that doesn't like winning in round one doesn't train in the off season? What? Like, seriously?
Yeah.
Like, what are they actually saying?
Yeah.
Can we just get rid of that comment? That the myths in rugby league, the rubbish fairy tale stories.
There's
a
few they get around, isn't there, Brandy?
There's some of the codswallop that's just tossed up.
Hang on a second, Brandy. Bulldogs, Cameron Serraldo never played for the Bulldogs, and they're not having great success. You've got to have played at the Bulldogs to understand the Bulldogs' way.
Well,
what I mean? Like, they're now 7 years without a finals appearance. That's a good one. That's a good one.
Understand the Dogs' culture.
On bringing it in, Chad's coming on bring it in. He says, at work, guys, I don't bring it in or even shake hands. But if we catch up outside of work, we all bring it in.
Wow.
So
it's a non-work thing.
Yeah, outside of work. Bring it in.
Now, okay. Now we don't want to start the year, and we've mentioned it briefly. Just the penalty try at the back end of the Cowboys Dolphins game. Cameron, as your expertise as a former referee, what did you think of that one?
That's a
Brandy. Jeez, mate, we've only just finished round one. That's an early call. It's usually later in the year.
Referee, Cameron Smith.
No. Look, I called the game yesterday up at Suncorp Stadium, and myself, Paul Vorton, and Peter Basaltis, we were almost speechless with that call. It's a penalty try. Like, you've got to be certain. You've got to be certain that particular player is going to score a try. It took an off break.
He wasn't.
Yeah, it was a big spinner from Nathan Lyon. It took a break 90 degrees to the right.
Yeah.
Like the ball was in the vicinity. But Jack Bostock, I thought he actually had
past it.
Yeah, I actually thought he
eyes for football.
He was allowed to do what he did.
Correct.
And I don't know whether the Cowboys players were going to get there, to be honest.
I know this isn't a contradiction. No, they don't have to be certain that the player will score, but they have to be certain there's a very good chance they will.
Well, that's what I mean.
They've got to be certain that there's a very good chance.
Yes.
I'm saying, and I think everyone thought there was no chance, like 0% chance of Laybutt getting to the ball. That's zero.
Right.
And they awarded penalty try.
At best, fellas, I thought you could probably understand Cowboys receiving a penalty at best. At best, for Jack Bostock taking Laybutt's opportunity away from getting the football, but they were all beaten. They were all beaten by the bounce. Like, there was no way that anyone was getting to the ball.
They weren't scoring. Willow from Windsor says, Cameron, is Craig Bellamy a bring-it-in type of guy?
No, he is.
Oh, I bet not.
He
is?
Big time.
He brings it in?
Yes, yeah.
Hey.
There would have been hugs and all of that bring-it-in stuff after the other night.
Always through his career?
No.
No. He became a bring-it-in man.
Yes.
Right. A convert.
Yes.
A bring-it-in convert. We will take our first break in our GOAT segment, Cameron Smith. If you've got a question for Cam, text it in right now, 0457 736 736. Breakfast with Vossy and Brandy and Cameron Smith.
Me and Vossy, I don't know if we've actually nominated our disappointments and our surprise packets, but yours over the weekend?
Well, I think surprise packet for mine was the Dragons. Yeah, I thought they turned up and they looked in really good shape, to be honest. They looked